There is this one very specific place, and that is Newgrange in Ireland. It is a burial mound. So think of the pyramids in Egypt, which were built about 4,000 years ago, as burial chambers. Newgrange is about 1,000 years older than the pyramids. It's this huge mountain. And right this morning, today, in that place, there were people entering into the burial chamber, into the darkest space of that huge mountain. And then at 6:45, the first rays of the sun peeked right above the entrance to the burial chamber, right into that space where the bones of those who had been buried at Newgrange were placed. It's winter solstice. 5,000 years ago, people were longing, were paying attention to the stars, to the sun, to the moon, experienced some darkness and were longing for the light to shine into that darkness, into that space, right into the mountain. So when you feel like having the blues, something weighing on you, not quite well, when Christmas is the hardest time of the year because those who are dearest and closest to your heart are not with you anymore right here and right now, hold on to that longing, hold on to that faith, that just like the people who walked in darkness, the old Israelites from our Hebrew scriptures, the people who walked in darkness have seen a light. They were stretching, looking for the light. And that light, that sun is shining into the darkness. How do we know that? Well, I think Advent and Christmas is an invitation for each one of us to walk and move in a little bit deeper into the message and the meaning of Christmas. And how do we do that? Well, one specific way is, I think, if we follow the characters of the Christmas story and see in what life situation they were, and what was unique about them, and maybe they have a message for us of how we can open up. I'm thinking of Mary. Any one of you remember what it was like a teenager? Oh my, it was just trying to survive, making it through alive. All the swings and the moods and not knowing on one hand, knowing everything better than the parents. On the other hand, still feeling right down and not knowing. It is to someone who just had not had a lot of experience in life, to Mary, that the angel came and said, "You, Mary, are precious. You're God's favorite. You are God's beloved." The angel coming to Mary, and her response is, "Look for someone else." No. Her response is opening up. Will you open up like Mary? Even though you may not feel like it, even though you may feel like mood swings, like just not knowing. Will you open up like Mary? Or maybe you're called to be an angel. Now, truly, according to the Bible, angels do not have wings, except the cherubs. We know those, but there is nothing reported of Angel Gabriel or Raphael or Michael or so that they had wings. We do not actually know what they looked like. Why? Because for any angel, for any messenger, the message itself was the most important thing. What they looked like, what they were, how they got around, does not really matter, but the message they bring. And this angel coming to Mary says, don't be afraid, don't worry. Can you imagine being with someone when they worry, when they're frustrated, when they're down, when they feel tired and sad during the season? Well, if you can imagine doing that, then you are a godsend, a messenger, an angel in its original sense of the word. The shepherds for whom life passed by, second-class citizens, third-class citizens, living beyond the railroad tracks in a trailer park, in the dark, people looked down at them, did not consider them worthy citizens of society. It is to them that the angel appears. It's to them who are on the margins that the living one is revealing himself. Jesus is born. And the message comes first, not to Herod, king of Israel, not to Augustus, king or emperor of the Roman Empire, not to anyone else, but the least, the last, and the lost, to the shepherds. They are the one to whom the light is shining in the darkness, lifting them up and calling them out of the darkness. And they are curious. They want to figure it out. They keep going. They don't give up. They move to Bethlehem. Now, not in all the birth of Jesus raises positive feeling of joy and delight. For some in their darkness, King Herod, he's in the grip, my friends. He feels competition. He's shutting himself out of the light. He's against, thumping, trumping, trying to get his own way. When we feel rage and anger welling up in us, when we are uncomfortable, when we can't stand it anymore, Jesus, still born for us in that situation, Emmanuel. It's in his name, God with us. God becoming real, flesh and blood like you and me. How about the wise ones? To me, they're the modern scientists. They look at the stars, trying to figure out the constellation, recognizing what out there is reflecting what's in here and where they are called to move and to keep moving. And scientists, experts in the field think it took about 2 years for them to travel from their homelands to get to Bethlehem, to Israel, to meet Jesus. Why? How do we know that? Well, if Herod killed all the babies 2 years and younger, so there was this time span of 2 years where we think. Still looking, still searching. What are you still looking for? And these magi, or three kings, whatever we call them, they get off their high horses or their camels, and they kneel down. They kneel down and worship the Christ child. Joseph is getting cold feet, wants to get out of it. He gets the jitters. Oh, that's getting too overwhelming, too much. And when he tries to take off, the angel appears to him and says, please don't leave Mary and Jesus alone. They're vulnerable. Care for them. Embrace them. They need you to surround them. And the very Christ child, to be held, to be smiled on, to shine. Isn't that a deep longing in us all, that we are held in and through our struggles and pain? Isn't it our longing to be seen for who we really are deep down and be affirmed, embraced for who we are? That is why Jesus is born. That is our longing. So which of those characters do you feel closest to and feel like they're drawing you into the miracle of Christmas, that the eternal God becomes real, flesh and blood, just like when you pinch yourself, just like that, as real as your own touch, he becomes real. That light that shines into the darkness right at New Grange, the first sun ray beaming into the darkness, piercing the darkness, and something new is coming alive. My hope and my prayer for you is, my friends, to trust that light that shines into the darkness, and that light that darkness cannot overcome. May it be so, my friend.